Friday, March 1st, 1940. Sumner Welles, the American Secretary of State, sent by Roosevelt to visit Rome, Paris, London, and Berlin, arrives in the German capital to meet with Hitler and Foreign Minister von Ribbentrop and to offer the services of his government to try to prevent the flames of war from spreading. After the meeting, Welles tells the U.S. president there is no chance of avoiding the expansion of the conflict because, as far as the Nazi leader is concerned, Germany is fighting for its rights and will triumph or die. Hermann Göring once again tells Hitler that Luftwaffe forces participating in the invasion of Norway and Denmark should not be under the command of General Falkenhorst and the OKH, Army High Command. Göring insists the action should be planned by the Luftwaffe High Command, OKL, and directed by General Erhard Milch, one of the men charged with the reconstruction of the German Air Force. Hitler accepts Göring's arguments and signs Directive Wesser, relating to the invasion of the Nordic countries, despite the fears of some generals who believe it is not the right moment to open a new front. The Nazi leader says the invasion should be peaceful, although, if there is resistance, all means are to be used to end it. It will be the most daring campaign of the war, and we will anticipate the action of the enemy, he says. In the Sea War, U-20, commanded by Harro von Klott, sinks the Italian merchantman Mirella. Saturday, March 2nd. The Queen Elizabeth weighs anchor on her inaugural journey from England to New York in great secrecy. The ship is to take refuge along with the Queen Mary, which has been sheltering in the port of the American city for some time. The Germans try everything, but are unable to locate the ship. The French Secret Service discovers the German plans to invade Norway and Denmark. The information leads France and Britain to make another request to the governments of Norway and Sweden for 150,000 troops and 150 planes to be allowed to pass through their territories en route to Finland, where General Timoshenko has begun a new land and air offensive. Both countries turned down the request. The American Secretary of State, Sumner Welles, concludes his round of talks with the Nazi leaders and leaves Berlin convinced that very soon the whole of Europe will be engulfed in a terrible war. In the vicinity of the port of Rotterdam, Royal Navy ships seize 4 Italian merchant vessels loaded with German coal. In the Sea War, U-17, commanded by Udo Behrens, sinks the Dutch merchantman Ringenstrom, while U-32, captained by Hans Jenisch, sends the Swedish vessel Lagaholm to the bottom of the sea. Meanwhile, Luftwaffe planes bomb the British cruiser Damala in the English Channel with the loss of 100 of her 300 passengers. Sunday, March 3rd. The Red Army engage Finnish troops in hand-to-hand fighting in the area of Viipuri and manage to take the railway station. Given the desperate situation and the high number of fatalities, the Finnish government is willing to sign the peace agreement with Russia in exchange for keeping hold of Viipuri and Sortavala. The governments of France and Britain try to gain time and call on the Finns to keep up their resistance until the arrival of the promised help. But the Finnish ambassador in London tells the British Foreign Minister Lord Halifax that the Stratford force destined for Finland will not arrive in time to avert a catastrophe. An RAF Spitfire that has been modified to fly at high altitude and avoid detection by radar, carries out a mission to obtain photographs of the industrial Ruhr region in Germany. The information gathered is of great value for making maps. In Sweden, a bomb destroys the offices of the communist newspaper Norrskensflamman. 5 of its employees are killed. In the Sea War, Karl Donitz, the head of the U-Boot-Waffe, complains to the Navy High Command that the number of submarines now patrolling the various sea lanes is the lowest since the start of the war. U-29, commanded by Otto Schuhart, places a mine that sinks the British cargo ship Cato, while off the coasts of Iceland, the British cruiser HMS York pursues the German passenger ship Arukas, which is scuttled by its own crew before being captured. Monday, March 4th. Finland debates the question of war and peace. The Red Army concentrates parts of its offensive on the coasts of Helsinki and Viborg in the Gulf of Finland, with continuous aerial bombing and shelling during night and day. The refusal of the Norwegian and Swiss governments to allow troops to cross their territory leads the British government to suspend the sending of the Stratford force. In Berlin, Hitler meets with Karl Donitz, who requests an increase in the production of submarines. The head of the U-Boot-Waffe argues that the territorial ambitions of the Nazi leader jeopardize German operations in the Battle of the Atlantic, and says he needs more units to carry out Operation Hartmut, the submarine cover for the invasion of Norway and Denmark. Donitz reiterates to the Führer his belief that it is essential to win the sea war in order to achieve overall victory. After the meeting, Hitler orders the OKW to delay Operation Weserübung to the start of April. Later, the German leader receives Graham K. Howard, the pro-Nazi vice president of General Motors, and tells him the only way to end the conflict is for the Allies to give up their ambitions to control the world. In the Sea War, U-29, commanded by Otto Schuhart, sinks the British merchant ships Pacific Reliance and Thurston. Tuesday, March 5th. The Finnish Air Force has been destroyed, and Helsinki is exposed to bombing by Soviet planes. Following an urgent meeting with Marshal Mannerheim, the Finnish government, faced with the desperate situation of its troops and having lost all hope of receiving help from the Allies, is involved in a bitter debate in Parliament, which ends with the decision to agree to most of the Soviet government's demands to reach a peace settlement, although the Russians are not prepared to give up their claims on Viipuri and Sorvatala. In Moscow, Lavrenti Beria, head of the Soviet secret police, NKVD, who has ordered repressive policies in occupied Poland and the Baltic countries, advises Stalin to order the execution of Polish prisoners that are a burden on the state. The execution order, relating to a total of 25,700 Polish prisoners, is finally accepted by the members of the Politburo, Stalin, Foreign Minister Molotov, Lazar Kaganovich, Mikhail Kalinin, and Klement Voroshilov. Both Stalin and Hitler are determined to prevent the resurgence of Poland as a nation and prepared to sanction unrestrained violence to achieve their objectives. In the Sea War, U-7, commanded by Udo Behrens, torpedoes and sinks the Dutch merchantman Groote. Wednesday, March 6. The Soviet government announces to the Finnish government that it will receive a delegation in Moscow to speak of peace conditions. Marshal Mannerheim recommends President Ryti and the diplomat Kusti Paasikivi as spokesman of the Peace Commission to go to the Russian capital, as the exhausted and reduced Finnish army is unable to continue defending the country's independence. Stalin seeks the security of Leningrad with the annexation of the Isthmus of Karelia, though for Andrei Zhdanov, the president of the Supreme Soviet Political Committee, in order to fight against imperialism, it is necessary to push the Soviet Union's frontiers towards the center of Europe. In the Reich Chancellery in Berlin, after examining the plans for the invasion of Norway and Denmark, Hitler tells the Luftwaffe adjutant, Colonel Nicholas von Below, "Have no doubt that both this action and the war in the West will be a brief diversion. Our number one enemy is in the East, where the hegemony of Europe will be decided." In the Sea War, the passenger ship Vahehe, sailing between Germany and the United States, is captured by 2 Royal Navy destroyers. After modifications to its body and deck, the Admiralty put it into service under the name Empire Citizen. Later, it will be sunk by a German submarine.